Italo Calvino was an Italian author and journalist. He wrote prose and anti-combinatrix in 1981 while a member of the Ulipo, a group of authors who worked together on developing potential literature. They focused on constraints and methodology, examining the creation of work. Italo Calvino joined this group in 1968, and the thinkers he encountered there influenced his work. He continued to publish stories, such as Palomar, a story about a man making philosophical observations about the world around him. It's split into 3 sections, which are split into 3 subsections, each containing 3 chapters. The story is written in a 3x3x3 pattern, a constraint that was surely born of Calvino's time with the Ulipo. Clearly, Calvino was a man interested in the art of making art. He passed away in 1985 due to a cerebral hemorrhage. Prose and anti-combinatrix is Calvino proving a point. He presents us with the start of a novel. 4 people died in a burned-out house. Some kind of record is burned and leaves behind only an index with 12 headings. To bind and gag, to blackmail, to drug, to prostitute, to push to suicide, to rape, to seduce, to slander, to spy upon, to stab, to strangle, to threaten with a revolver. Naturally, a computer is able to list out all possible permutations of perpetrator, act, victim. But a list of every possibility is not useful for finding the truth. We have to narrow our results. So we add constraints. First, we can start by declaring that 2 people are unlikely to have killed each other. So if A stabs B, then we can conclude that B does not then strangle A. Some acts exclude others. If A seduces B, then A has no need to rape B. And of course, if A murders B, then B cannot perpetrate or be victim to any more acts. These are some of the objective constraints that Calvino presents us. Next are subjective constraints. A is an extremely strong man, and is an inarticulate brute. So we rule him out as a victim of acts of physical strength, and as a perpetrator of persuasive acts. The same kind of constraints can be applied to the other characters depending on their traits, hence subjective. Last are aesthetic constraints. In the interest of order and symmetry, each act has one and only one perpetrator and one and only one victim. Also, characters do not perform acts on themselves. These are constraints that are invented by the programmer. Calvino, after providing an example of results from a computer program, concludes that this demonstrates that computers don't replace artists, but their use allows an artist to free themselves from a combinatory search, letting them focus on Kleineman, the unpredictable swerve that turns a series of events into works of art. Italo Calvino's ideas are amusing on the art of creating fiction. Every story ever written starts with a blank page. Endless possibility. The only way to make art out of something like that is to put constraints on it. Books, movies, TV shows, web series all make use of Calvino's ideas. Video games do the same, but one better. The artist and the audience make the art. The artist makes the world, and the audience plays in it. It leads to unexpected moments and great stories that we can share with each other, each of us telling a different story under the same constraints.
Perfect. There we go. There's through that first door.